Welcome to In Conversation with MANWAR podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the Do Not Be a Bystander campaign. You can join us in raising awareness about bullying by visiting donotbeabystander.com, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay informed about upcoming episodes. Today's participants are Raima, Srijita, Alvina, Mithila and Sufyan. Our special guest of today's episode is Daryl St. Martin.
Welcome to our Bullying Awareness Podcast. I'm your host, MANWAR Khan. Today I'm joined by 5 young individuals who are ready to share their thoughts and insights on the topic of bullying. They all have the same goal: eliminating bullying in school and communities. These young individuals are passionate about addressing the issue of bullying, and they are willing to empower others. And that's why they are here today. Our today's participants are Mithila, Alvina, Srijita, Raima, and Sufyan. Thank you guys for joining us today. Before we continue, I would like to introduce our special guest for today's episode, Daryl. I would like to talk a little bit about Daryl. Daryl was born and raised in Alberta, lived here all his life except for 9 years that he lived in Kelowna. He has been married for 37 years. Growing up in a small town, Daryl has always volunteered in one way or another. He was a volunteer firefighter and ambulance attendant. Daryl also sat on one of the boards of the Stollery Children's Hospital for 5 years. Now, in a personal note, I must say that I have seen Daryl and I work with Daryl, and I have seen how passionate he is when it comes to helping other people. Thank you, Daryl, for making your time out of your busy schedule to join this podcast.
Oh, you're
Really,
very welcome.
and Daryl will be giving at the end of our episode. Daryl will be giving some advice and tips to our participants. All right. And now that I've introduced our participants and special guest, now let's get started with our first round question for our participants. So, bullying is a significant problem that impacts students in school around the world. This issue can have lots of create lots of problems at school, in personal life, and I want to ask my first question to Mithila is what bullying is. Can you talk about different types of bullying and give us some example?
Bullying is when you feel sad and your heart does not want it to happen. There are many types of bullying, such as social bullying, cyberbullying, and racial bullying. Social bullying is when you bully with words. Cyberbullying is when you bully online, and racial bullying is when you bully while being racist.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. So I want to ask you a question, Mithila. So if I mean to you today, right now on the show, does that mean I am bullying you? Just one incident. One incident may be not considered as bullying, right? Bullying is basically it's a repeated incident, and the purpose is to hurt you. That is bullying, right? So if somebody is mean to you today, that may be a bad behavior. Somebody is having a bad day, or it's a bad behavior. But maybe if it's only for one day, that might not be considered as bullying. But if their person, they're doing it every day to hurt you, and then definitely we consider that bullying. Do you agree with me? Right. Excellent. Thank you so much. It's a great answer, Mithila. Thank you for your insight. My next question is for Alvina. There are multiple ways in which bullying can cause harm to friends. So, my question for you, Alvina, you have a friend and you see that that person is being bullied. So, how bullying can hurt your friend? What do you think? How does it hurt your friend?
Bullying can hurt my friends physically, socially, and mentally.
Exactly. And like emotionally, right? And she, if somebody is bullying your friend, um, m- what do you think we can do? You can do as a friend. You can be there with her or him, right? And support that person, right?
Yes,
Sometimes being there, being friend to that person is make does make a huge difference. Do you agree with that?
yes,
Excellent. Perfect. Thank you. That was a good answer. Actually, it physically, mentally, and which is and also emotionally, right? All these things can uh, with different way to hurt someone when someone is a victim of bullying. All right. So recognizing signs of bullying can help you to identify if someone is victimized. So my question for Srijita right now, how do you know if someone is being bullied? Is there any signs that you can tell that, okay, yes, this person is being bullied?
These are some signs. These are some ways to know if someone is being bullied. They might be sad or depressed or scared, or
Mhm.
they will show no emotions. Examples of someone if someone's being bullied, they have destroyed clothes, electronics, injuries, and they don't want to go to school. Sometimes they talk about suicide.
So true. I totally agree with you. And there are a couple other signs in some of my conferences. I talk about that. I want you guys to know. For example, kids coming home from school, there are bruises at hand or other parts of the body, and they are hiding it. They don't tell it to the parents, right? And in that case, that could be a sign. Sorry, Mithila, can you? Uh, is there any problem with your camera? Please not. Let's not move because it's actually flickering here. The video. Okay. Thank you. Uh, sorry, Swejita. Um, I really liked your answer. I want to add something here. Uh, for example, I have seen kids coming home um, with the lunch box, empty lunch. Oh, they ate lunch. And I asked that, oh, did you eat lunch? They said, yeah, we eat lunch. We ate our lunch. But actually, they didn't eat lunch. Somebody ate their lunch. And then one day, the lunch box is missing. So some belongings are missing. They didn't tell. Sometimes kids do not tell this to parents. Okay, they don't feel like telling it. What you just said, and this is not right. But these are the signs. As a parents, we need to. If we are parents, we need to watch out for these signs. If you see that, definitely we need to talk to our kids, and and for you guys, all our participants, I want to mention if you see these signs with you or your friends, please try to help, which means talk to an adult, a trusted adult. In my mind, first thing comes out is your parents, mom and dad. Talk to them. If you don't feel comfortable, talk to your teacher. You talk to your counselor at school. But you need to tell someone that okay, I am being bullied, or maybe my friend I know, she's being bullied every day. Maybe this can help that person eventually. Do you all agree with me? Excellent. Thank you. That was a great answer, Sujita. So my next question goes to Raima. There can be various reasons why someone might engage in bullying behavior. It is important to note that these reasons can help us to understand the original factors. They do not excuse the act of bullying. So, my question for Raima is, what do you think are the reasons why someone might bully another person?
I think some of the reasons are because maybe they have been bullied and it's going so they feel like doing it, or something bad happened to them so they can't hold it in and they want to like push it on someone else.
Yeah, that's true. And to be honest, there's another point I want to add here. Um, Sometimes they are having a bad time at home. They have seen these maybe at home, and they are frustrated. They are sad. They feel isolated. They are alone, and they come home. They come to school, and they become a bully and try to do the same thing to other person, so that other person feels alone, isolated, and humiliate that person. So sometimes we always blame the bully, but we also have to think about the factors, the root cause why this person is bullying other person. Is there a problem actually, right? So that's one of the things we need to consider that. Thank you, Raima, for your answer. Anything else? Do you anybody wants to add to Raima's question? All right. So my next question is for Sufyan. If you find yourself in a bullying situation as a bystander, there are several ways you can help the victim. So, question for you, Sufyan, is if you are in a situation like bullying and you are a bystander, how can you help the victim?
Well, first of all, if people don't know what a bystander is, I'm going to tell them right now. A bystander is like someone who is seeing the process of someone being bullied. So, and to answer your question, uh, if that is happening, you should tell any trusted adult about it, like guardians, neighborhood parents that you know and your father or mother know, counselors, teachers, principals, or supervisors. And if that is not possible, then friends can help you a big time, like really much.
Exactly.
Um, if you always help your friends, it will eventually come back to you. But like, if your friends don't help you, they're fake friends. Okay, they're just using you. And um, if you want that, the like, so peop the guy that was being bullied, like after, you can just like tell them to ignore the bully sometimes because all they want is just mostly attention. But like if it gets too far, like physical bullying, like call 911 or any other numbers.
Yeah, excellent. That's the thing. So the point here is you do not want to be a bystander. You do not want to just watch it and tell that this is not my business. If somebody needs help, you try to help that person, but at the same time you must need to make sure that this is safe situation for you. If it is not safe, I will never recommend you to go jump in and try to help. First thing is you make sure this is safe. If it is not safe for you, then you know you cannot help right now. But what you can do, you can go, like Sufyan mentioned, you can go and talk to an adult, talk to a teacher and tell them, or mobilize some friends and tell them, okay, you know what, that guy, those kids are bullying this guy. So I cannot go alone. Maybe five of us, six of us can go and tell the request that not fighting back. Bullying cannot, you cannot stop bullying with a fight. You have to educate that person and tell them. And sometimes when you mobilize and go as a group and tell them that no, this is wrong. The first thing you need to tell that person is whatever you are doing is wrong. And then The other part is, as a bystander, you go next to the victim and say, I'm your friend, I'm here for you. You support that person. It's a funny story I would like to share. Uh, when I was at school, I was never bullied. I was never a victim of bullying because half of my friends were big bully in the school. They were bullying other kids. So at one point I thought that okay, it's a problematic. These are my friends, they are bullying, and they're bullying. I can see that they're bullying those very regular, quiet kid. So what I did that instead of going for any argument or anything, what I did is I took a different strategy. I tried to be friend with those victims. The moment I became their friends, all the bullying stopped because now the bully doesn't bully that victim because they are our friends, right? So sometimes it helps when you can become a victim's friend, and then he get the mental support, and other people think that this victim is not alone. There is somebody there for him, right? That anything else, Sufyan, or you wanted to add there?
No, that's it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That was a great answer, Sufyan. So, with the first round questions completed, it's now moving on to the second round question. And first question for Mithila. In the context of bullying, there is a term we call bystander. So, can you tell us a little bit about what do you understand about bystander in a situation like bullying?
A bystander just watched them fight and keeps it a secret, for the bystander will get bullied.
Right. So, the person who is just watching and doing nothing, that person is a bystander. If that person try to help and mm, get help for that person, he is called active bystander, right? So do you want to be a bystander in a situation like when somebody is bullying your friend? Do you want to be a bystander, Mithila?
No,
What do you want to do?
I want to tell the teacher that my friend is getting bullied.
Excellent. That's a great answer. You try to help. This is your goal. You try to help that person. That's it. And it could be your tell your teacher doesn't listen, you tell your mom and dad and tell that, okay, my friend is being bullied, can you go and talk to teacher? Somehow this is our when you see it, this is our responsibility to help that person, correct? Excellent. So we all agree we don't want to be a silent bystander, right? Okay. So it is important for individual to recognize the role that we play as a bystander. So this is really, really great answer that you gave, Mithila. So my next question is for Alvina. What would you do if someone bully your best friend?
In school, I will tell my teacher or principal. If it's outside, I will tell my parents. Also, help my best friend.
Excellent. And when you say help your best friend, maybe you mean that you will be there for that person. You go and tell your best friend that I'm here for you. You are not alone, right?
Yes.
S- Something like that. And yes, I agree with you. If it's at school, please talk to your teacher first. And if it is outside, you definitely talk to your mom and dad and anyone you trust. And a trusted adult can help. Always remember, people are out there to help you. All you need to go and reach out to them and tell them that I need help. All right. And
Yes.
that help does not mean that it is a help for you. It is a help for someone else. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alvina. My next question is for Srijita. There are many types of bullying, for example, verbal, physical, and cyberbullying. Can you talk about little bit about cyberbullying, Srijita, and some example?
Cyberbullying is a type of bullying and it's online bullying. An example is if your bully is texting you and he or she is talking about bad things about you or abusing you, and it can affect the mental health because it makes you think about bad things and will affect what people do.
Exactly. So, like you said, Srijita, actually cyberbullying happens using technology, right? Phone, internet. So, mm, if somebody send you a text about somebody else, that okay, this person was not a good kid, he was a bad kid, he didn't listen, he got a very bad mark, poor mark, do not hang out with that person, what would be your response to that? Something like that, it is a kind of a bullying thing, it's using technology. Maybe your response would be saying that, you know what, do not send me these kind of text messages, right?
Yes.
And if somebody's sending you a somebody's picture and you say that no, I don't want to even see it, I will delete it, and before you even delete it, you first go and talk to your mom and dad,
Yeah.
right? So that those are the, right now, when we were kids, bullying was at school and backyard, schoolyard. Now it has its own entrance to coming and follow you at home with your phone and internet. So it is a serious problem right now, this cyberbullying. But that was a great answer, Srijita. Thank you so much. So my next question is for Raima. Why it is important to stand up to bullying and help those who are being bullied, Raima?
It's important to stand up to bullying because if it just keeps going, then I'll be like a chain reaction where like okay, something happens and then it happens again and then it gets like the world. Like I had an experience of bullying and I didn't feel very good about it. I would go to school every day, be taunted and bullied by this boy, and then there were a lot of bystanders just watching. But then there was one girl who helped me, so I feel grateful for that.
See, what goes around that comes around. So if this happens to somebody else's life, and if you see that, you may be taking the same role that your friend took other day. You would not be a silent bystander. You will be helping that person too, right?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. So yeah, it is natural. If someone in need, you need to go and help. You can help that person. Okay, so this is a basic thing that we need to do, and we need to, this needs to be built in, instilled in our mind and values, that if somebody needs help, somehow I had to help that person. Okay, no, that's a great answer. Thank you, Raima, for that example. So my last question is for Sufyan. So when comforting a friend who is being bullied, it is important to provide support, empathy, assurance. So, Sufyan, if you see your friend is being bullied, how can you comfort your friend?
So you can always comfort your friend by talking to them, talking like if they have issues, you can always talk to them about it. They can let their feelings go, and you would understand, and she and he or she that got bullied would understand too. But like if she talks about like really really bad negative comments, you can also help by like telling a teacher or like supervisors or principals about it, and they would help them. They would like, if they would like call the parents to take them home, and the parents would talk about what happened during bullying, and and suppose they're being bullied again and again, you should get your friends or like a community next to you and like help the guy or girl that got bullied. And if it's like cyberbullying and they feel really bad, uh, and it's happening in the school cyberbullying, you can you can get your like supervisor or school guardians, and like your school guardians can like really help in that situation. If it's physically bullying and they're like crying about it, oh my gosh, you should like call you should like do you should make it so that like your teachers know, your parents know, your guardians know about it. And if it's any other, always like any other type of bullying, always get guardians or friends to support the
Mhm.
guy or girl that got bullied. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you. Great answer, Sufyan. Thank you so much. With the completion of first two round questioning, we move on to the final segment, which is a group discussion. I will have only one question for all the participants. You guys will be just adding one sentence to that. What you think about that question, your answer. But before we move on to that, I would like to invite our special guest, Daryl, um, who patiently listening your conversation. And please, Daryl, share your thoughts on this topic and about these conversations today.
Well, first of all, guys, um, you guys are beautiful people. By standing up, helping out friends, um, and just participating in this podcast to help Manwar get the word out about bullying. Because if we all do our part, um, then we should hopefully eliminate bullying. So I have a question. What is your advice today from what you've heard? Do you have any tips that you would share with the rest of the people on today? Don't be shy.
Alvina?
Okay, go ahead.
Spread the kindness and help the victims. Tell people about the bad sides of bullying. Need to find the root cause.
Great. So basically, you're saying that educating people, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else to Daryl's question? Sufyan, I
I
think
see,
raised.
Safina, you have your hand up.
Okay, to add to that, always like first of all, you should educate like people who get bullied to like try to avoid and always have guardians. But if you don't have like any guardians or like school principals, supervisors, etc., then always like make friends with them, and they and make sure your friends always help you and you always help your friends, well, in a case of bullying.
So thank you. Anybody else?
Great answers, you guys. I got one last question. Um, with today's media and all the stuff going around, could you talk about what you would think the negative impact of cyberbullying would be? Do you guys have any insight on that? Because it's pretty prevalent now with the internet, so and social media. So what would you do about, or what's your insight about cyberbullying? Go ahead,
Sufyan.
Safina.
Okay, so since like technology has advanced through the years and stuff like that, you if you're feeling sad about the bullying and cyberbullying, always talk to your friends about it. But also, cyberbullying does have a negative impact to the world. I mean, you don't know who they are, but like if you do know, you know, and you can report. But like sometimes it's just random people across the internet can like cyberbully and like talk about negative comments, and it makes you feel really, really sad and jealous too. So like I think most of us has been like cyberbullied before, like like all the girls here, like probably they play like video games or stuff like that, and people be toxic to them, saying like they're really bad at the game or something like that, and then they go really far, like kill yourself or something. That's it.
Very well said. Ramina, you have your hand up.
Rhyme.
Oh, sorry.
So no problem. So I would like to add on to Sufyan. Cyberbullying's like very like rough. Like if you're just doing something random, something could pop up in your phone and say, "Oh, you should try this out." But you should, like, if you're playing a game and then a new one pops up and your friend says, "Come and join," you should ask like your parent before to play, because that could just be like a spam or something. So someone could cyberbully you, and your friend might know and you might not know.
Very true. Well, I must say you guys are rock stars for taking the time and standing up to bullying. And to tell you the truth, you don't necessarily have to be a child to be bullied. You know, bullying goes on even in adults. So stand up for anybody that you see as being bullied. And thank you for inviting me, Manwar.
Thank you, Daryl. We have come to the end of this episode. I would like to thank our participants, Mithila, Alvina, Srijita, Raima, and Sufyan, and our special guest, Daryl. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Before we wrap up, I would like to remind our listeners that there are several resources available to help individuals dealing with bullying. The Government of Alberta has a bullying helpline, and the helpline can be reached at 1-888-456-2323. Bullying is a violation of human rights and should not be tolerated under any circumstances. We all have the responsibility to speak out against bullying and take a stand against that. And do not be a bystander. Thank you so much for joining in conversation with Manwar Khan, and we will see you next week.